Good afternoon, radio friends of 96.3. Alex Anthony here, hosting live at Drew's house. Joppa Afternoon Drive for the first time. No need to worry, though. Your beloved Drew Moholland is here, but the roles are reversed. Drew is going to be the one getting interviewed today. For those of you that don't know Drew, he is your regular host of this show, morning news editor and general assignment reporter for WBZ 1030 AM radio. He has interviewed celebrities such as John McEnroe, Don McLean, and Chuck Grassley. He's an avid concert goer, a tennis player and enthusiast, a supporter of local music, and a musician himself, and a good friend. In the flesh, Drew Moholland. What song are we kicking the show off?
Wow, what an intro! Well done. That's the best intro I've ever had. All right, well, I know that you are a Dave Matthews fan with me, so let's do one of those.
All right.
You ready? Can I go?
Take it away.
Try to swim, keep your head up. Kick your legs, never give up, boy. If I could, I'd turn it around. Let me out, I wanna get out now. You know the feeling when you're in too deep, and then you make it out. It tastes so sweet, so sweet, so sweet. I'm too high, I wanna come down. I'm too old to want to be younger now. If I could, I'd turn it around. You know the feeling when you're in too deep, and then you make it out. Tastes so sweet, sweet, so sweet, sweet, so sweet.
Woo!
Hey!
Woo woo!
Good to see you.
Good job, Drew.
It's weird being over here.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, how's it feel to be on the other side for once?
Well, it's a different view.
Yeah.
This one, I hadn't played in a while. Feels good.
We're trying to get Drew to play some more. You know, he's got a great voice. He's got some guitar skills.
Sweet of you.
He's got good taste in music.
Yeah. Did you know that one?
I've not heard that one before.
It's an obscure Dave one.
What's it called?
Sweet.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What time?
The Groogrux, like 10 years ago.
The Groogrux.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hidden on there. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
He plays it on a little, like a little mini guitar.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, we're excited. We're going to be going to
Guildford.
Yeah.
Guildford. I didn't know. I'm not wearing the headset. Is that okay? I kind of.
Yeah.
It's your show.
You sound great. You sound great. It's up to you if you need it.
Let me try these. Let's see.
All right.
Oh my! The host gets the better headsets.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just learning this now.
Oh,
I've been
damn, I
neglected
kinda like
the entire
that.
time. So we've gone to Guildford. We've gone to some of these shows together.
Mm-hmm.
You were just recently in Key West with me.
Yes.
What did you think about Key West for the first time?
Key West is a special place, my friend.
Yeah.
Party. So it's I mean, I know how you do it because you go down there and you do a good job with making it like you stay structured. I like that about you. You play, but if you get caught up in that scene, you can't do that for a month.
Absolutely not.
You would die.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
But we did 3 nights, and I wasn't sure I could do a 4th. That's a true story. But no, it was beautiful. We got great weather. Music was fun. It was actually really cool having like you and all those other musicians. Who else was down there? Luff Kid was down there. He's been on the show. Who else? Steve Dennis was down there.
Yeah.
So it was like kind of nice just having you guys down there and everybody who, you know, we always had a place to go and that sort of thing. So yeah, it was fun.
Did you find any new musicians that you liked that you heard?
Yeah, although it's funny now that you asked that, I'm not sure I got any names back. It's everywhere. Like you go into every bar. Like I don't think if you've never been to Key West, it's like every place you walk by from like noontime on has music.
Right, 3 times a day, 7 days a week, pretty much. Yeah.
It's kind of like a Drew paradise.
That's what I'm just.
Were you gonna say that?
I was gonna say it's your paradise.
That thing's happening.
Yeah. So what do you think? You're gonna go down there for round 2? Maybe spend a little bit more time and explore.
Maybe. And like I said, I think 3 nights might be the one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I loved it.
I think there's a lot of. I know you're down there for pleasure, but I think there's your passion is reporting and you know I believe like you know the news and stuff like that. So I think there's a few interesting people I'd like to hook you up with, and maybe you could do some stuff and some material for you.
Okay.
Which leads me to my next question.
Okay.
How did you get into news and radio? What was what's the story behind that?
You know, it's not too complicated, actually. Everybody always says, it's a long story. It's really not. I mean, I went to college, and I would say I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. I went to Bryant University, small school, but one thing that they did have, and I liked radio and stuff. I always had like some radio icons and stuff, but I think a lot of people had that and they don't necessarily make it a career. But one thing my school had was a radio station that was like a real radio station. Like it wasn't just playing to the school. It like went out to the community. People in Providence could hear you. Smithfield is where Brian is. It's like 20 minutes from Providence, but it like went out to the world. And like I remember a few early buddies of mine who didn't make it through school because they made the mistake of going on the air at like 1 a.m. after a night of partying, and it was language and probably beers in the studio. And the next day, the guy came in and said, "You won't be seeing them anymore. And there's one rule: if you never forget one rule in radio, it is that there is always somebody listening, even if it doesn't feel like it."
Wow!
And like that always stuck with me.
You know, that's wild. That's a cool parallel with being a musician is some people think, you know, there's 2 people in this bar.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm going to drink, party, and have fun.
Yeah.
And the couple people that are listening, or maybe they're managers or another owner of another restaurant, you lost your shot because you just didn't know who was listening, and you got to be on every night in your case. Yeah.
Mornings these days for me.
Exactly.
But no, it's like but I would say I wasn't happy for the kids that got booted from I think school. I don't even think it was just a radio station. I think they like got booted from school. But there was like a live element of that I loved. Yeah. Like, I don't know, this thing felt like a living, breathing thing to me. And I was like, I think I really like this. And then that was early on. And then I got involved in it in school. And then I just realized how much fun you can have in radio. Yeah. And how crazy it is. And then, got an internship at WBZ in Boston. Still there in one of my 3 jobs. They're all radio related pretty much. Play a little tennis too. But the BZ, I always tell people if you can intern while you're in school, it's great advice because I don't even think they remembered the work I did at WBZ. Like, I think they just remembered, like, oh, we liked him and he was a team player. Like, you can probably work with it. Right. You know? And then, I mean, you got to be able to do the job too. But I think initially it's just like, yeah, you know what? That's a good person to have on the team. Get him back in here. Right. And so I think that was, don't be a jerk and intern. And that's kind of the thing. That's how I got started. Right. Here I am.
Interesting. So for me, when I was getting into music, I later found that there was so much more than just playing music, trying to write a hit song, trying to put my feelings out on a page. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I actually learned that the most fun that I've had playing music is the crowd interactions and the adventures and places that they take me. And I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, that's kind of what you're like, did you necessarily want to be a reporter? Maybe not, but it's what came along with it that is what is your passion?
Yeah.
Drives?
No, there's definitely something to that. I definitely didn't picture myself. I think everybody kind of pictures themselves like, when you're young, especially, like you like sports and stuff. And I could be on the sports. I could talk sports all day and it'd be good. And then, like at this point in my life, I'm kind of like, I actually don't think I could talk sports all day.
Right.
It seems boring to me. Like I get up and I have.
Yes.
I'm working. I don't even know what stories I'm going to do during the day. Sometimes I do, but a lot of times it's just what happens in the world, and it's like, oh, let's go check that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we just had a mutual friend of ours, Chris Webb, was in here the other day, and like I didn't know they put pickleball courts at the Newburyport Brewery. I went over and checked them out, and that was it.
Yeah.
That was an interesting story. And it's just stuff like that, and that kind of freshness to it, I think, is what draws me to it now.
It's new. It's a different variable every day.
Yeah.
Different things.
Yeah.
So. You've covered some big stories in your day, one in particular that went national. Take me through the feeling of interviewing, sorry on the pronunciation, Jahar Tsarnaev.
Yeah.
His gym teacher. Now, does it feel like a particular duty as a reporter to, in this case, get Jahar to turn himself in so the city can relax? Or do you take the weight of that urgency on yourself? In any way?
I had no idea that was going in that direction. That was a crazy week. You know what I remember? That I was living in Brighton at the time. I was young, and that was like lockdown. You think quarantine during the pandemic was lockdown? This was like, don't go outside.
Yeah.
Or like, in Boston, like you never know who you might bump into. But also like police were incredibly strict. Get the hell back inside.
Yeah.
I remember driving to work. We had to get like emergency worker passes just to get around the city, and they were like legit with that. Like I remember probably 3 out of 5 mornings in a week, or it was only 5 days I think when we were really in lockdown, maybe 4, and I got stopped twice going to work. And WBZ, and then they look in your car, and like there was just nobody.
Yeah, that's
Boston
insane.
was a ghost town.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of the younger people don't quite realize that. So the marathon happens. I was actually there for I was at Kenmore Square for the explosions.
So scary.
So we had like friends that were close to the finish line. We were lucky to quickly hear from them, like, we're okay, but it's... You know what I remember that, before I get to your story part of it? I went out, I was at my buddy's bar, Cornwall's, and we see it on the TV. That's how I first realized that the marathon's going on. Like you see something's happening at the finish line.
Yep.
And I remember, like, the bar was weird because it was a party, and then like people start seeing it on the TV, and it kind of gets quiet, and like so we walked outside.
I got chills right now. You're just telling me the story.
It was a beautiful day, and I'll never. The first thing that I remember about that is people were still running the race in Kenmore, and it was like party scene. The college kids had the drinking on the stoops, and it's just typical marathon day. And I was like, start walking towards the finish line a little bit. So I did that. And like I said, we had friends there. And then you walk a little bit, you suddenly see people coming back at you, crying in tears. Then like there's some blood too, like, people are helping people. And that was like watching those two worlds collide of like party scene marathon and then the finish line, everybody running away, was absurd.
Oh.
But yeah, so then living in Brighton, we were working, and I think, how'd that day go? So they caught the guys, like, I think they lifted the lockdown, I remember. I think that the story goes that they thought these Tsarnaevs had gone to New York. So like the city was essentially safe from them. There won't be any more explosions. I believe that's a story, that they thought they were going to New York. So that's why they lifted the lockdown. They were still here. And that's when Watertown happened. I think that was a Friday night, if I remember correctly.
Right.
They realized Jahar was on a boat in Watertown after the shootout. And, oh man, I've talked to those police officers too. Those guys were heroes. I mean, one of the officers I remember interviewing had a Pugalis, I think, or a Polish name. I forget how to pronounce it. He was a Watertown cop. He's retired now. But I remember talking to him, and he was shooting at the brother, Tamerlan Tsarnaev. And he goes, I'm literally just face to face with him, and we're just shooting each other. Some of us are missing. And he goes, Tamerlan runs out of bullets while he's shooting at me. And he takes his gun and just throws it at me. He goes, which I think I managed to actually laugh in real time. But he goes, this officer goes, Tamerlan took the gun and threw it at me when it was out of bullets. And I was like, oh my God.
No way.
Yeah. So I'm bouncing all around in the marathon story. But the story you're talking about is the gym teacher. So my boss calls me. He's like, hey, get back in here. The MIT shooting. Oh, God, so many things have happened. If you lived through it, why my mind's a little scattered. But the officer, Sean Collier, gets killed at MIT. That's when everybody realizes these guys are still in town. Okay, this is probably connected. The next morning, I get a message from my boss. I remember going to Fleetwood Mac that night that Sean Collier got shot. They somehow, it feels weird now, but they had a concert go on in the city because they had lifted the lockdown. They're all right, Fleetwood Mac's here. It's one night. Yeah. And I was like, I haven't done anything fun in a while. Like, it's been 3 days of marathon work. We went to the show, great show, Fleetwood Mac. And but I remember being so tired. I fell asleep, woke up to my boss calling me. Hey, the MIT shooting, they think it's connected to the marathon. Get in here. Turned out it was. I remember, like, I just did background checks. I remember, like, everybody was doing a million things in the newsroom for the marathon that day. And I just remember thinking, like, okay, so the kid went to Cambridge, Range and Latin. I started, like, looking around, what classes might he have taken. The gym teacher's number's registered. Like, I got a cell phone number, called him. Guy happens to pick up. I'm like, hey, do you mind if I record you? And he says yes. And then he goes, I don't know if I want to do this, actually. It's just a lot of stressful time. And I go, do you mind, can you give me 60 seconds of recording you? And he goes, sure, let's do it now. Quickly turn the button on. And I say, I think I got 2 questions in. They had no idea where they were going. First of all, you're Jahar Zarnayev's gym teacher. What is he like? He gave me a quick answer or whatever. What were your feelings during all this? And then the second question was the last question was the one that got all the attention was, if you had one thing to say to Jahar Zarnayev, what would it be? And he said, Jahar, turn yourself in. Do not hurt any more people. Please, Jahar, turn yourself in. And, like, that went all across Boston and, nationally and stuff. And
it's incredible. I mean, it's you using a media too, though. I mean, I know that's not the way, like you said, you don't feel that duty or urgency, but there is something that, with the media that helps out with.
That's like community radio at its finest.
Sure, exactly. Yeah.
That's like
absolutely.
It's a bad story, but that's the best kind of radio when you're connecting with your cities and towns and
Awful, tragic event.
Oh yeah.
Thoughts and prayers to everybody that experienced that.
Still, right? I think about it every marathon day.
I do too.
This time of year.
I mean, not all. Of course, all these tragedies are bad, but when they hit home like that, it just drives a dagger through your heart.
Yeah.
And we're coming up on the marathon again, right?
Yeah.
Did they move it back to?
Yeah, we're back in April. I forget what day it is.
That's great.
It's the Monday after the. It's coming right up.
It's always been one of my goals is to do the marathon, but my knees aren't going to hold up at this point.
Oh, you can do it.
I did the 10-mile.
I've seen you in the gym. Come on.
I did the 10-mile Yankee homecoming race, and it was fun, but the next week was not.
Okay, well, I'm told if you can do 10 miles.
Yeah.
I'm told if you can do less than that, you can do a marathon, but I think 10, you could definitely do it.
Oh, interesting. Well, we'll have to reconsider.
You might not be qualified. We're going to have to raise some money for you.
Yeah. So, through all these people that you you interview, politicians, musicians, athletes, what do you notice anything particular and any difference between them or anything that stands out glaringly?
They're all different. I would say the general rule, and I think this is usually like the best, for me personally, this is usually the best compliment I get with like interview styles is people saying like, it was nice. It didn't feel like a business interview. If you can like make it conversational and get like those sweet spots out of it,
Yeah.
Like Daniil Medvedev is a tennis guy I interviewed. He won the U.S. Open. I know, not exactly the biggest tennis country in the world, but tennis is like my sport. So for me, that was like the day I interviewed John McEnroe, Medvedev was there too. And everybody at this thing, it was the Laver Cup in Boston. Everybody runs to John McEnroe. I like John McEnroe. It's a bigger name, right? But he's an idol in this country. But like I'm looking at the U.S. Open champion from a couple weeks ago, 6'6" Daniil Medvedev over there. And he gives me, I went, can I have a word? Yeah, sure. We talked for 10 minutes. And at the end, he said, another one that will always stick with me, what has changed in your life since winning the U.S. Open? Not too much, except like some people have your, sorry for the accent, but some people have your number that like didn't before. And I'm like, oh, like who? And he goes, in this country, I don't think I'll answer. And I asked him afterwards. Vladimir Putin calls him after every big win.
No way.
And I was like, oh my God, I was one person away removed from Vladimir Putin. Like that was bizarre to me. Like I wasn't expecting that answer.
Yeah, 1 degree.
But yeah, but when you talk with these guys, they tend to tell you stuff.
Yeah.
And women. Which, as long as you don't make it too like, that's when you get the good stuff, when people get comfortable and
Right.
you don't have to trick them into feeling comfortable. Just be normal, Don't
Right.
be fake.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this is my first time doing an interview, and I'm interviewing a musician. You feel comfortable?
Yeah.
You feel comfortable?
I feel good. It's a different view.
Yeah.
It's a different view.
You feel like
over
doing
here.
another song?
Sure.
Comfortable enough?
I'll do a Bruce one you don't know.
Cool.
Let's see. Yeah, Long Walk Home. Last night I stood at your doorstep, tried to figure out what went wrong. You just slipped something into my palm, and you were gone. I could smell the same deep green summer on me the same night sky was gone. In the distance I could see the town where I was born. Yeah, it's gonna be a long walk home. Yeah, pretty darling, don't wait up for me, it's gonna be a long walk home. Yeah, pretty darling, don't wait up for me, it's gonna be a long walk home. It's gonna be a long walk home. In town I pass Sal's grocery, barber shop on South Street. I looked into their faces, they all rank strangers to me. You know that Veterans Hall high up on the hill was silent and alone. The town it was boarded with a sign that just said gone. It's gonna be a long walk home. It's gonna be a long walk home. Hey, pretty darling, don't wait up for me, it's gonna be a long walk home. Hey, pretty darling, don't wait up for me, it's gonna be a long walk home. It's gonna be a long walk home. It's one of my favorite Bruce ones right there.
Woo! Sign this man up for some gigs. We're gonna put you to work soon.
It's funny. I put this away in my house. Like I usually play more. Mm-hmm. I put it away since I realized it's been since like Christmas or something.
That's incredible because honestly, from the day I met you and I first heard you play, I was like, oh, he's got something there, and you've literally improved. Every time I hear you play, you get a little bit better.
I should play more.
Yeah. But you're busy playing tennis.
I do play a lot of tennis. Yeah. It's almost tennis season.
So I was doing my prep work for this, right?
I'm very impressed.
And so I wanted to know a little bit more about tennis. So I Googled pro tennis.
Okay.
And then I clicked on the news tab on Google. And when I hit the news tab, the first thing that popped up was a pro-am featuring hockey players, professionals, playing pickleball. Oh, how does that make you feel as a tennis fan? That's the first thing Do you
know how many people are so happy you asked that question? Here's the thing. People think I have this vendetta about pickleball because I joke about it a lot. And my real problem with pickleball is there's a space problem. And a lot of pickleballers take over tennis courts. And pickleball is the fastest growing sport in the country. There's a lot of people. So sometimes it's hard to, and I teach kids tennis, and I have a group, and I can tell this isn't the part that bothers me. This is just the nature of the beast, but I can tell they're very distracted by the pickleball because it's faster, mm-hmm. it's easier. Sometimes tennis on a kid, body's still growing, racket's a little big. Tennis can be hard.
Right.
But sometimes hard is okay.
Right.
And it's just stick with this. This will be rewarding,
Right. I think was kind of my next question. Do you think that it's hurting the sport's interest because
tennis?
Yeah.
Do I think it's hurt?
Pickleball is hurting the interest of tennis. For example, Djokovic confirmed that he'll be back at the start of the European clay court season,
Yep.
and his first opponent could be Rafael Nadal. And now,
If he's
why
healthy.
isn't that the first thing that pops up?
It should be.
Right.
Do you know how many people to this day it comes up, like adults, you and my age, your age? Mm-hmm. I got you by a little bit, but we're about the same age. People in their 30s, like they don't. I've ran into people, like grown people, smart people, who've never heard of Novak Djokovic. He's the biggest.
He's my favorite.
He's your favorite, sure. That's fine. He's a lot of people's favorite. But like how have you never? I mean, it's tennis's fault. It's not the person's fault.
Fair.
It's the coverage of tennis and a guy named Brad Gilbert. This is a little inside baseball, but tennis commentator for ESPN, coaches Coco Gauff right now, said tennis needs to get on a network. And until they get on a network, they're, it's in trouble.
Yeah.
These matches can't just be on the tennis channel. Kids need to be able to flick through ESPN
Sure.
and see tennis matches. And they're happening.
I felt like it used to be.
Yeah, the big tournament, like the Australian Open is that the only one? U.S. Open is, so the two majors.
Before all the Twitter and the sports clips that were just like, you barely even have to watch the game because you can turn on Twitter, you can go through Instagram, and it's just going to do all the highlights really quick.
Sure.
When we were, all we had was cable, ESPN to see those highlights.
Yeah.
I feel like that's when tennis was starting to build because I was watching it and be like, I'd follow it just because it was there in front of me all the time.
Well, we grew up too. Remember, there were big Americans Americans love rooting for Americans.
Right.
You had like Sampras and Agassi.
Oh, Agassi.
So
that's
that
right.
was
I didn't
kinda-
know he was American.
Fair
Fair enough.
Yeah. So I mean, that was the kind of the American heyday. So
Yeah.
But everybody thinks you need like an American to be there's no American stars right now. It's like, who cares?
Right.
The world's a global place. I love Rafael Nadal.
Absolutely.
You love Djokovic.
Yeah.
I love them both.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's how I feel about the whole tennis. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. It did very well.
Am I dodging questions? Jeez.
No. I thought you were going to, but you've been good.
I've been good, okay.
You've pulled down the curtain and you got the real Drew today. So we're gonna do a segment here to wrap up today. If you didn't know, Drew is from Danvers, Mass. So we are going to ask him to participate in this new segment called "How North Shore Are You?" I'm going to give you a series of questions, some multiple choice, some either or, and some fill in the blank. Are you up for it?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to start with an easy one.
Oh boy.
One of Danvers High School's rivals is Beverly, correct? Mm-hmm. What is the current name of their football team?
They're the Beverly Tanners. Did they change?
It's the Panthers.
Oh, Peabody Tanners. No! It's the Panthers.
Oh, my God. That was an easy one.
I'm in so much trouble.
That is bad. Okay. All right.
Oh,
well, they only get harder from here, so...
I play basketball in Beverly. I play basketball on a court once a week that says Beverly Panthers.
Listen, my high school is now the Panthers, too, so I guess
Yeah.
Panthers are native to this land. I did not know.
That is a bad one. It is the Peabody Tanners, just to further your...
Okay.
Yeah.
You got me questioning myself here. All right, number 2. Name 4 towns starting with M that are considered North Shore.
With M?
Yes.
North Shore, M says Middleton.
Yep.
I could name other M's. I just don't want to... okay. Middleton. Malden?
Nope.
No, that's not North Shore?
No.
Merrimack?
Yes.
Middleton, Merrimack. Methuen's not. That's more.
These are 2 obvious ones that are closer to you. You got the hard ones. These ones you should
Those are
know.
the hard ones.
Yeah.
This game's hard. All right, hang on. Let's do some geography whip around. What did I say already? Middleton and Merrimack?
Yep. 2 closer to Danvers.
What else is close to Danvers?
Well, one of them.
Not Malden, not Methuen.
Think more to the coast.
Essex, Gloucester. Am I missing one there? Manchester by the Sea.
Okay. One more, and you should know this one. This is the most.
Can you give me a hint? Which one is it?
It's a town over from Salem. Okay, 10 seconds.
A town over from Salem?
Town over from Beverly.
M?
Marblehead.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Why am I so bad at this?
Number 3. What town?
They were my tennis rivals in high school.
I thought you were more North Shore than this. Number 3. What town, other than current Salem.
Yeah.
On the North Shore was widely known.
Danvers, the witches.
Okay, you got that first part. But what was it called then?
Was it Old Salem Village?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we got one.
I'm back.
Okay. Number 4. Is JC's either an ice cream stand or a guitar repair shop in Beverly?
Ice cream stand.
Eh.
No! Really? Beverly's killing me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
5. Out of these 3 Massachusetts actors, which one is not from the North Shore? John Cena, Joe Keery, or John Krasinski?
The middle one.
Nope.
Really? I know Cena's North Shore.
Joe Keery. John Cena is West Newbury. Joe
Yeah.
Keery is Newburyport. John Krasinski is Newton, which is not.
Oh, my God.
All right.
Good questions. These are tough.
We're on the halfway point. 6. What female WCVB news anchor went to Pentucket High School?
Stefanos?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We got 2.
Maria Stefanos.
Yes.
I don't really know her, but we've interacted on Twitter. She's very nice.
All right.
Or X, sorry.
Number 7. Lynn was the center of what industry starting in 1635?
Lynn was Mills, right?
Yep. I'll give you a clue if you need it.
I don't think it was Shoe Mill. It was Shoe Mill.
It was too. I'll give it to you.
Okay, all right.
All right. 8. Beverly and Marblehead have had a long dispute of which town was the birthplace of this military branch.
Beverly and Marblehead?
Yes. The
Ooh.
birthplace of a very prominent military branch.
Feels like Navy.
Done.
Yeah.
All right. 2 fun ones to end.
These have all been so much fun.
Number 9. Favorite pizza on the North Shore? First thing that comes to mind.
That's tough. You know, I have like a young man affinity to a place called Rocco's in downtown Danvers.
I love that place.
Yeah.
It's got the cash register from like 1960.
Yes, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome pizza.
You've been there, good.
Yep.
Okay.
Number 10. There is a right and wrong answer. Favorite musician from the North Shore?
Trying to think of how clever of an answer I can come up to. I would say, you know what? I'm going to say it's one of my my first guests on the show. It is you, Alex.
All
Yeah,
right.
There you go.
5 out of 10, Drew.
Sorry to Russ and Jay and everybody else.
I don't know
on the
if
show.
I don't know if that's a passing grade, but
What was I? 5 out of 10?
5 out of 10.
Yeah.
One isn't bad.
Ooh, the Marblehead people are going to be angry at me too.
Yeah,
Beverly
well-
or Marblehead, not good.
Well, that was fun, though.
Good game. How not sure are you?
Yeah. So, sadly, though, that is all the time we have today. But I'd like to thank Director Maeve Power, Maya Gastman, Ryan Rothberg, the boss, Sarah Hayden, our wonderful listeners of 96.3, and, of course, Drew Moholland, for joining us and allowing me to do this today. Until next time, stay safe and have a wonderful rest of your day. Drew, take it away with one more song.
All right. First song I ever learned. When the night is dark. What? Let's start that again. There it is. And the moon is bright, and your love is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. Darling, darling, stand by me. Whoa, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. If the sky we look upon should crumble and fall, and the mountains should tumble into the sea, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. Darling, darling, stand by me. Whoa, whoa,
stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Drew.
All right.